Welcome to Money in Motion video blog. This is Dan Perkins, and thanks for watching. A lot of things going on since the last time we talked, but some good, some bad, some still undetermined. What's going to happen? Mr. Trump started off his presidency with a lot of executive orders, some of them positive, and some of them the courts decided they didn't like and want to have a second look at them. I think that one of the things that's important is that here we are almost 2 months into the man's presidency, and he still doesn't have all of his cabinet officers. They have not cleared the Senate. There's now discussion going on, is the momentum of Mr. Trump going to slow? And not only is it going to slow in the Congress in getting things done, but is it likely to slow in the markets? And we'll address both of those in a few minutes. So let's talk about his own momentum. He continues to tweet and do things that a lot of people think he shouldn't be doing. I happen to think that his greatest enemy is the American media, who seems to be somewhat biased against him. Plus, add to that the Democratic Party. Got a lot of people against the president, and if he doesn't stand up for himself, I'm not sure there are many people who will have the influence that the president of the United States would have standing up for himself. So I applaud him for doing that. I don't necessarily agree with all the way he does it, but I applaud him for defending what it is he's trying to do. The concern now is that with this court stay on the immigration ban, is it a precursor to other things that are going to slow down in the Trump administration? There is some concern now whether or not the wall is going to get built. Are we going to get tax reform? Is Obamacare going to be replaced and repealed? Is the corporate tax rate going to be cut? Is there going to be a special tax for the reparation of foreign profits? And on. Things are now beginning to, the honeymoon, if you would, is wearing off, and we're now in a situation where people are starting to ask hard questions. And just because the president has a Republican majority in the Senate and in the House doesn't mean that he's going to get all the things he wants, and for that matter, might not get them all ever. So I think it's important to understand that the momentum at the moment seems to be slowing. I think the biggest hurdle is, what are they going to do about Obamacare? Are they going to come up with a true repeal and replace, or are they going to bastardize what's there and make it even more complicated, more difficult for the American people? That's going to be decided relatively soon, and that's important. I also think that on the economic side, well, the numbers from the ADP were great on Wednesday, and the numbers from the Bureau of Labor Statistics on jobs on Friday was also above expectation. What disturbs me is that the Federal Reserve out of Dallas has a report that says that they believe that the economy is losing momentum, and that GDP for the 2017 may come in at 1.2%. Now, I don't know whether that's a good number or a bad number, but it's a number that's floating out there. And so the other momentum that's starting to slow is the Trump effect in the rally in the stock market. Why? It's a couple of reasons. One, interest rates on the 10-year Treasury are now at about 2.57%. There are some pundits who think that interest rates on the 10-year could go as high as 275. If interest rates on the 10-year were to go to 275, then it would create an opportunity for people to come out of the stock market with some of the gains that they've had out of the Trump rally and go into bonds, especially 10-year Treasuries, where we're getting the same yield as the S&P 500 without the risk and the government guarantee. Now, they're not going to get the upside in terms of capital appreciation, but they don't have to take any credit risk. So you've got interest rates moving up. The question is, will the Fed raise interest rates more than 3 times in 2017? We'll get more information about that next week from the Federal Reserve Chairman, Mrs. Yellen. And in also some other things that are disturbing, we see gold prices, which would be a precursor of inflation, falling almost in the entire time of the Trump we've seen gold prices fall almost for the entire time of the Trump presidency. And as a result, we have now gold under $1,200 an ounce. So the harbinger for potential inflation protection has not performed well. And if we don't really expect any significant inflation, I would expect to see gold prices probably continue to fall. The other one is crude oil, one of our favorite nemesis. When crude oil prices were $53 a barrel, we were doing quite well. Nice recovery. Now we've got it at $48 or so a barrel at major support. If we break 48, we could go to 42. Breaking 48 has some very significant political and economic consequences. At below $48 a barrel, actually below a much higher number, but at below $48 a barrel, OPEC and Russia have serious budget problems and serious revenue shortfalls because they desperately need crude oil to be approaching $60. Saudi Arabia's got an offering for Aramco, which holds the oil assets of Saudi Arabia, and they need a stable oil price, hopefully a higher oil price, in order to command a higher price for the underlying shares when the offering comes. Add to that the political unrest in France and the possibility that Merkel may not get reelected in Germany, plus what's going on in Korea. You got all kinds of crazy things, and the most recent report I saw was that Venezuela was down to its last $10 billion. I know that sounds crazy, but they literally could run out of money. So things are pretty kind of wild around the world and wild in the United States. The one thing that's important is we continue to get our dividends. You can pay your bills and you can live. And I believe that when things settle in and we get a clear direction, I believe we are going to get some tax policy. It may be very well tied to dealing with the deficit, where the debt ceiling is going. And I think we're going to try and bring that money back, I hope at a very attractive rate. So several trillions of dollars could do wonderful things for our country in terms of putting people to work. I expect to see the job numbers to continue to get better, and these will be better paying jobs than what we had previously. So there's a lot of stuff going on and a lot of things that are pulling the economy and the markets in lots of different directions. Hang in there. I'm watching it. I'm being careful. And if you have questions, please feel free to give me a call or send me an email at dperk1857@aol.com. And thanks for watching.